Name's Roger Boaty. Mr. George Roger Boaty.
Hello darlings, and it's a rather tired and flustered Boaty facing you this evening, but I'm so glad to be here. I've really missed you guys, and it's lovely to catch up with you. I know we sort of caught up this afternoon because this is my third live stream of today. The second on my channel, the other one of course was on the Project Nigel channel. But this is us catching up properly in our time. So I will say a very good evening to the lovely Joe Cox. Good evening to Jaden. Joe says, good evening, Jason. You made it back home. I did. I'm here. What car did you end up going home in? I ended up coming home in the new Streetwise. And more on that later. What a fabulous car. What a fabulous car. I'm going to say that it is the best Rover 25 or derivative thereof that I have ever driven. There, I've said it. Evening Boaty, says Jaden, and good evening to you. Did you enjoy your day out? It ended up being a fabulous day, but it started as fly of some sort. Oh, hello. Yes, I agree, Captain Mustard. I agree with what you've just said. Clearly forgotten that I do a live stream at 10 o'clock on a Monday night and is pinging me. But I agree wholeheartedly with what he just said. So yeah, I did enjoy the day. I more than enjoyed it. It turned out to be a great day. But it started so badly. So badly. I woke up. Now that's a good start, you know. Waking up is always better than the alternative. And oh God, so tired. And kind of didn't want to get out of bed, but then I did what I normally do before I get up and whiz to the loo. I reached out to my bedside stand and I took my iPad and just had a quick glance, didn't open it up, just looked at the alerts, you know, that you can see on your lock screen. Fucking hell, I almost died. Just copyright claim, copyright claim, copyright claim, copyright claim. In total, and this may not be exact, but it's pretty close, I did count them, 458 copyright claims I woke up to. And you can bet that got my ass out of bed fairly quickly. So that was the start to the morning. Then it slightly improved when I left half an hour early. I left at 10:30, wanting to get a good start and be at the yard a bit early, be there for midday instead of 12:30. Not a good journey again, darlings, not a good journey. I got caught behind a double trailer HGV all the way to Chapel-on-the-Frith. Okay, that happens, par for the course. Chances are, you know, heavy trucks use that road. You know the road, you've driven it with me 1,000 times. And wherever you come out onto it, you know, eventually you're going to catch up with a slow moving vehicle. So that wasn't the end of the world. But then at the end of the M67, where you join the M60, accident, huge long tailback. So I lost half an hour there, and then another accident on the M62. So instead of getting there half an hour early, which I should have, I got there half an hour late, and the weather was miserable, and I was in a really, really bad mood. I can't begin to tell you the level of bad moodness my bad mood was in. First words I said to Mustard, I walked in and I said, I am in a sensationally bad mood. Give me coffee. And he kind of, but you know, as the day went on, I became in less and less of a bad mood, and it ended up being a great day. So yeah, thank you for asking. So Neil Gibbons is with us and says, hello all. Hello Neil, thanks for joining us. Oh, Vimto, says Joe. You know me and my Vimto. Good evening all, says Bad Books. He's on the wagon till 11. Correct. I daren't start before 11 because then I'd be pissed by 2 minutes past. I find starting at 11 is just about right. I work my way through that bottle of wine, drunk cook supper, and fall into bed. Simon of Spanking Pilchard says, you've caught me unexpectedly editing a soup review. Oh my goodness me. Well, a soup review. Oh, for God's sake, who now? Oh, God. You know, you'd think my 2 partners would know that I bloody streamed at 10 o'clock on a Monday, wouldn't you? Well, they do know. That's the truth of it. And they do this on purpose. They've admitted to it. They know that it's going to ping. They know it's going to whiz up on my screen. They know it's going to be heard on the live stream. And last week or the week before, the unknown banker said, how many times can I get away with this before he completely loses his rag and balls me out on the live stream? Which I didn't, of course. I would have this morning. God, I was in a foul mood this morning. Oh, you wouldn't want to have crossed me this morning. I was champing at the bit, I was. Didn't last long. Simone is here and says, hello, Hooked on Classics, of course. Or the suggested rebrand from this afternoon's live stream would be Hooked on Titties, which I really like as a channel name. I might start a channel called Hooked on Titties. I quite like boobs and bangers as well. Oh dear, we had fun today. If you didn't catch either of this afternoon's live streams, I'm sure they were mostly catastrophically boring, but I think there was the odd moment in there. I completely lost the plot towards the end of Mustard's when he started doing bloody Mick Hucknall impression. He did an impersonation of Mick Hucknall being spanked by Madonna and then Mick Hucknall being penetrated by Mr. T, which, of course, I've never heard Mick Hucknall speak, so I've got no idea how accurate or otherwise his impersonations are, but they're jolly amusing. I've never driven a Streetwise, says Joe, but I've heard great things. To be honest, Joe, now I did make a video on the way home tonight. I think if it all comes out okay and if it edits okay, might not be the worst video I've ever done. I mean, it might be. Well, no, it's not going to be the worst video I've ever done. The worst video I've ever done would be my very first one. And that was beyond awful. I mean, genuinely beyond awful. But it might be half okay. But as I said in the video, driving a Streetwise, you're just driving a Rover 25 effectively. You might be a few inches higher off the ground, but that's about it in terms of the driving dynamic. But again, as I covered in the video, they undeniably look cool and look funky, both outside and inside. And this Streetwise has got it's only a 4-seater. It's got that split rear seater arrangement, which I think is fantastic. And again, while I was videoing, I was trying to think of similar cars, and the first car that sprang to mind with a similar arrangement, and this is going to sound very weird, was a Lamborghini Espada. And you really couldn't get much further away from a Streetwise, could you? But no, I mean, you know, they're a slightly taller Rover 25. Everything else is exactly the same. They are cooler and they are funkier. I have to admit it. I'm I'm rather smitten. It's just that this particular one is just the best driving Rover 25 I've ever driven. The engine is silky smooth. It's the lower powered 1.4, so it's not quick by any manner of means. But it's so smooth, it's so tight, it's together. It's done 73,000 miles. It drives as if it's done 13,000 miles. And it's got the best, and Mustard said this as well, it's got the best brakes of any 25 I've ever known. It's got a cheeky little rorty exhaust on it, and it's just an absolute joy. It's only a very temporary trip with me. I just brought it back here to be parked up off-road. I won't be using it, and it will go back to the yard as quickly as possible, possibly on Wednesday, and I will be coming home in a car that you haven't seen, and if not, on Monday, and I will hopefully be coming home in Brian Johnston, who will be a bit different to when you saw him last. So there we are. Right, okay. Diddly-do. Jesus Christ, says Jaden. I thought you were going to say 20 or something like that. No, 458. Joe says, what was the copyright claim for? You know my intro music that I played just now that features somewhere on nearly all of my videos? That. Every single one of them. And a really abrupt copyright claim. Not the sort of, oh, you know, I'm going to keep an eye on the statistics for this one. Not a, oh, we can revenue share this one. No, every single one, full on copyright claim. Every single one was demonetized, and every single one had all ad revenue going to the copyright owner. 458 of them. That was fun. Oh, Ben says, homeward bound chariot, I'll bid the Codfather. No, not the Codfather on this occasion, although I do want to have a go in the Codfather. The Codfather, yeah, well, I'll come on to that in a minute. Impersonating Michael Barrymore. Simon's logging off and he'll be back in a few minutes. Oh, hello. The Long Man is here and says, evening, everyone well. Impersonating Laddie Grayson, says Bad Books. Ben says, go big or go home. That's the Boaty way. 458 is more than big, though. God. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, imagine. I thought I was still dreaming or something. Imagine waking up to that. It's the first thing that you see, like your worst nightmare. Virtually every single decent video on your channel is just bang, demonetized, wallop, just like that. Right, and then Ben says, salutations, fellow boatists, which is rather nice. Oh, right, and they're just explaining who Michael Barrymore and Laddie Grayson are to somebody who's obviously too young to know, and they're describing them as old TV stars that have a passing resemblance to Mr. Boaty. I mean, I'll kind of give you Michael Barrymore, I suppose, but Laddie Grayson, really? Shut that door. What a gay day. Oh, look at the dust in here. Everard? Everard? I quite like Laddie Grayson. And I would like a pince-nez. I think I'm getting to the age where I would rather suit a pince-nez. Indeed, when I actually require glasses to survive in normal life, I'm going to go for a pince-nez. I think it would suit me. No need to look them up, Joe. And Joe goes on to say, the two streams were great fun. The yellow game and mileage game were great fun. I'm back, says Simon, just like Arnie said I would be. Is that the 1.4 engine, asks Joe, with restricted throttle body, something like 80 brake horse? Yeah, that's the one. 84, I think. Seems like I've joined just as he tries to sell the Streetwise. The Streetwise is not currently available for sale, I'm afraid. Matt Streetwise was beautifully filmed by Joseph Lloyd at the weekend. Was it really? Simon says, let me know if you want me to do some music or just use one from the YouTube library. I'm going to be using exactly the same music, Simon, but thank you anyway. Joe says, oh dear, not good. So how do you sort the copyright claim out? Will you have to stop using the intro music? No, I won't. I'll explain that in a minute. The long man says, bad books. I always get it filmed when it's desperate for a wash, but yes, Joseph did a great job filming it. Jolly good. It made me smile, says Matt, that Joseph spent more time on my Streetwise than the V8 park next to it. Simone is still trying to understand her new video editing software. Jaden says, Boaty, what life advice would you give to a young person? Oh, hell's teeth. Hell's teeth. I'm not sure I could give that as an exact soundbite. And I'm not sure if I would be the right person to be giving life advice to anybody. I mean, would you want to end up with a life like mine? I imagine that you probably wouldn't. And it depends how young and what point in life you are. Gosh. I'll come back to this as we go through the stream, because that's a really difficult one to answer. And the temptation is to just go very much down a cliche route. Don't sweat too much about things that are outside of your control, but absolutely take full ownership. I hate that phrase, it's very modern, but take full ownership of that which is within your control. As soon as possible, as early as possible in life, learn how to control your own emotional balance and well-being organically without feeling the need to revert to any kind of stimulants or aids, by which I mean any form of medication, or I also mean alcohol, recreational drugs, anything of that type. And I'm sure more will spring to my mind. Now this is a total cliche, but you've got no idea how short life is and how quickly things will go. So value every day. Never wish a day away, looking forward to something else. Make the most out of every day. Find joy in every day. But, you know, that's, to be honest, I think it's almost possibly a pointless task to, as an old guy, to try and give an advice to a young guy. Because when I was a young guy, I would have ignored me, to be honest. I think that life is a journey that we go through, and we kind of learn our own lessons, I suppose, and we learn them through time and experience and failure, and we're unlikely to take them on board from some old fart who sits rattling at you on your screen. Other than that, don't make any long-term decisions that are not easily undone when you're young, because your mindset will change with time. So I would advise against things like tattoos, that might seem cool at the moment. You might regret them later on. Steer clear of drugs of any sort. Treat alcohol with respect. Don't smoke. Have lots of really good sex. And learn to be okay with yourself. Learn to be the best person that you can be and live the best life that you can. But whatever you are or aren't, be okay with that, because, you know, you are what you are. So I'll come back to that as we go on. That's a big old question. And if anybody else would like to chime in, please do. Good evening, says Adam. How is everyone? That's nice. Welcome to you. I haven't watched Joseph Lloyd in ages, says Simone. I watch him quite regularly, and oddly enough, we were chatting on the phone over the weekend too. Enjoy, a bit of advice coming from Matt. Enjoy every opportunity, but don't be picky with opportunities, is my advice. It may be crap advice, but it's still advice. Dare I suggest, says Bad Books, avoid silver cars for the car sales venture. Yeah, not that silver's a bad colour. It's just that anything silver I automatically want to keep. Wear sunscreen, says Matt. That's always good advice. Simone says, Boaty, at what age do you class someone as no longer young? That's an interesting question, and I'm not sure. Gosh, 50? Something around, I don't know. That's an impossible question to answer, because it's kind of so subjective. I mean, by any reasonable parameter, I'm an old guy. Maybe not elderly yet, but, you know, I'm middle-aged or probably late middle-aged now. But I still, and everybody says this, and they say it because it's true, you don't feel like that. You might be the same age as old people, but you don't feel like it. You still feel young. I don't know. When would I describe somebody as not being young? Probably when, I don't know, pick a number when you have 5 of the signs of not being young. Yeah, I mean, I'm just picking 5 as an arbitrary number. And if you guys want to chime in on this, please do. But when you get any of the symptoms, your body will tell you that, your brain will never tell you that you're no longer young, never. But your body will tell you. So, grey hair, failing eyesight, things falling off or out, drier skin, wrinkled skin. If you're a gentleman, then a pendulous scrotum. If you're a lady, then pendulous bosoms. What else? Hairs appearing in your ear for no apparent reason. Nostril hair growing at an increased rate. What else? Memory loss. You know, not catastrophic memory loss, but your short-term memory goes for a bit of a burden. I don't know. Looking at, do they still do the adverts in the back of the magazines for like elasticated trousers and slip on tartan booties? I don't know. What are the signs of getting old? Getting a sense of peace and relaxation from drawing your curtains. Right, let's get curtains shut, settle in for the night. Whereas when you're young, you want that window onto the world. That's a really interesting one. Do chime in. Jolly Juju is with us and says, hey up, Boaty, if you keep using the same music, does it mean you'll not earn YouTube money anymore? Are you okay with that? No and no. I'll explain all of that in a minute. Matt says, be kind to your knees. You'll miss them when they're gone. Absolutely. When you're young, say Simon, things are scary, but what you don't know is that they're scary when you're old as well. So just learn to push on and enjoy yourself. Ben says, short answer, drink, feck, arse. But you'd be better to listen to the Reverend. Well, no, probably, well, it's say as I do as I say, not as I do. I did the drink, feck, arse bit, didn't I? I still am, to a large degree, but I've learned some things as I've wobbled through life. Learn to cook. That's the advice. Fall in love with creating really good food when you're young. Don't rely on anybody else cooking for you. Learn that you can make food better than any takeaway if you make the effort. And and travel. Take any opportunity to travel, but travel properly. Don't be a British person abroad. Don't ever, never, ever, ever go on a package holiday. Never do it. Don't go to any resort where you could be anywhere in the world and they serve a full English breakfast. If you're going to travel, travel properly. Travel safely, but travel properly. If you visit a country, don't stay in a resort. Don't stay in a nondescript hotel. Rent a property, albeit a flat, a beach house, a house, whatever. Rent a property and live like the locals live. Get a genuine taste of the country and the culture. Don't be one of the, because then you will grow as a person. Every single culture, nationality, race has got something going for it and can teach you something that will be good for you in your own life. So learn it, experience that. Never go on a package holiday, never stay in a resort hotel. Live that local life as much as you can. And again, when you're young, right, you will discover as you get older that some things that were easy when you're young, I'm sorry about this. I had to deploy some emergency underpants today due to a laundry cock-up. And I'm discovering why I made them emergency underwear rather than everyday underwear, because they're not doing the job at all. My most easterly plum has been escaping all day. And those bucket seats in the streetways are no friend to an escaped plum, I can tell you that. I'll be glad to get out of this underwear, I really will. I mean, it is very strictly emergencies only. So yeah, do the travel thing. And things that are difficult when you get older. Learn languages when you're young. It's easy when you're young. And be sure to learn some languages. Okay, you might have got bored stiff at school because they teach language really badly in school, or at least they used to. Now, when I first lived in France, I got, I believe, the highest mark in my French O level anywhere in the country. And when I first lived in France, could I speak the language? Could I ask? Pretty much everything that I learned at school was, to all intents and purposes, in terms of conversational everyday French, bloody hopeless. It was way too academic. Where I really learned my French was by living in France and speaking French on a daily basis to and with French people. But you try learning a language when you're older. Now, every day of my life, apart from Monday, for the past however long, 6-7 years, I've been around people speaking Nepali, right? Now, if that had happened when I was in my 20s, I guarantee you 100% I would now be a fluent Nepali speaker without almost any effort whatsoever. As it is, I've got next to nothing. 7 years and I still haven't, I still can't count to 10. I can count to 4. I can't count to 10. I've got basic words and basic words only because the brain doesn't absorb it. I could learn a language if I set out to, but it would be very hard work. It wouldn't happen naturally and automatically. Whereas in my 20s, which is when I did learn my languages, that's when I learned my French, my Italian, my Mandarin, my Russian, a little bit of Spanish. And I learned all of that absolutely without trying to. It just magically absorbs into your brain. And that stops happening as you get older. So when you're young, learn a language or two. It'll make you more international and cosmopolitan. And more advice for the young. Remember that the world is an amazing place and it's a great big place, but it's not that big. It's not so big that you can't explore it if you want to. But each little corner of the world is amazing as well and has something to offer. So if you can travel, travel, but don't ignore what's around you. Don't be one of these people who has been to all of the major holiday destinations, but has never been to Scotland. Explore the country around you. Explore Devon and Cornwall. Amazing. Explore the entirety of Wales. Explore the entirety of Scotland. And explore England as well. As I said in my video this afternoon, I had a stunning drive home. There are parts of England that are very nearly as beautiful as Wales. And I meant that. There really are. Around here is gorgeous. So explore the world by all means. Don't ignore what's on your doorstep. Remember that people are people, right? And don't, when it comes to races, when it comes to religions, when it comes to nationalities, never pull people in as a collective. Don't generalize. People are generally wonderful all around the world. That's been my experience. And as early as you can, if you haven't already, learn to become colorblind. A person's color or appearance is neither here nor there. We're all just people. We're sharing the same planet. And people are generally good. Whatever country they live in, whatever religion they happen to follow, people are generally good. And always remember that. Don't be blind to the fact that not everybody is good, and there are some bounders and rotters and cads out there, but equally, never forget that people are generally good. And never say, I don't like this, or I don't like that. Don't make that sort of generalization when it comes to people, because you'll be wrong. You will undoubtedly be wrong. And if you don't put yourself into that cultural mix, believe me, you will miss out on so much. I'm the person I am now because I've been inured in so many different nationalities, so many different countries, so many different religions, and you kind of take the best bits from all of them and inculcate them into yourself and into your life. And I think that's a very valuable thing to do. So do immerse yourself in other cultures, other people, and listen. Always listen to people. Everybody has got a story to tell. Everybody's got something worthwhile. There you go. That's enough of that to be going on with. Everyone is going to learn different things, says Joe, as not all people are going to go through the same issues in life, so some advice is not needed. Oh, yeah, probably. Sex, says Simone? What the feck is that? Avoid drugs and stick to herbs? What Boaty is trying to say, says Simon, is live, love and laugh. Yeah, nothing wrong with any of those. Main advice from Joe is love yourself. And to not judge yourself on different factors and to learn everyone is different. Yeah, we're all unique, just like everybody else. Always respect power tools, says Adam. Certainly something to remember when you're young and feel invincible. Yeah, that's true. Jolly Juju says, my advice to youngsters, fuck them all and have some cheese. I've heard worse advice. Matt says, it's the Streetwise a courtesy car for Mustard's accident in Eric because it's a hire car. Hire, as in H-I-G-H-E-R, hire, yeah. Very good, very good. On a side note, says Simone, my nephew was born today and he's very poorly, as is his mother. Oh dear. Well, thoughts and prayers and very best wishes to them both. I feel we're missing the main message for the young here, says Simon. Don't waste your time watching this bull crap and go and do something worthwhile. Well, it's 22:11. Chances of doing something more worthwhile on a coldish Monday night, it's probably not that many. No, have some respect for the elderly. I need the viewing figures. Put up with this. I'm only going on until about midnight, possibly before. I'm a bit knackered. As I said, it's been a bit full on today. Where did I get to? Oh, we're all sending good wishes to Simone's nephew and the mother. Yeah, bless them both. Life advice with Boaty, says Joe, is drink wine and lots of sex. I did say treat alcohol responsibly, oh God, sex advice. Well, when done respectfully, then I see no problem with sports sex, and I never have done. So if you enjoy sex, and most of us do, and you have opportunities for sex with a willing partner outside of a committed relationship, don't see any harm in that. I don't see any harm in that at all. It's something I've certainly always done and very much enjoyed. But respect is the main thing. Practice safe sex, of course. And for all of the sex that I've had, I've never ended up in bed with somebody that I couldn't talk to afterwards. So I've never been with anybody purely because there was a purely physical attraction. Here's a good bit of advice for the young. When it comes to pottering, remember this. Chances are you're going to need to talk to them and spend time with them after you get out of bed. And if that side of things isn't there, then don't go down the pottering route. There's plenty of potential pottering partners out there. Find one that you can talk to afterwards, or before, or even during. I'm a big fan of that. Loose plum, says Joe. My most easterly plum has been loose all day. Very distressing. Living in a country is really the best way to learn a language, says Adam. It's taken a few years, but I'm approaching fluency in English. Me too. Of course, English isn't my first language, but I'm picking it up quite well. Bad Books always followed his mum's advice. Wages priority. Pay rent and mortgage first, bills second, food third, and the luxuries will come. That's actually really good advice. So yeah, advice to the young, live within your means and be grateful for and value what you have. Don't take credit on anything, with the exception of a mortgage. Other than a mortgage, don't take credit on anything. Don't have a car on finance. If you can't afford to buy something, go without it. That would be my advice on that. Parts of Devon are spectacular, says Simone. They absolutely are. I lived in Devon. It was amazing. Joe says people are far too judgmental these days. They judge on skin colour, religion, sexual orientation, or if you're fat or thin. Never understood what it's got to do with them. It's not their life. Well, yeah, but I don't think that's a these days things. I think that's it's always been that way. Adam says, always remember that no one sees himself as a villain in their own story. There's usually a reason why anyone does anything. Yes, there are indeed always two sides to every story. Well, what now? For God's sake. That was the hairy Paddington chiming into our joint chat. On purpose. Simon says, that's not a these days thing. Oh, he agrees with me. That feels more like a people thing. People get comfortable in their own world and forget other ways exist. Yeah, I agree with that. Trouser news, says Simon, and then says, how do you iron your trousers? Well, I don't possess any trousers, so I don't iron them. Neither do I possess an ironing board, neither do I possess an iron. I decided some time ago that life was too short for ironing, and I iron nothing. I buy the kind of shirts that don't require ironing. I have got some trousers. Yeah, I've got suit trousers, haven't I? But, you know, I don't iron those. I used to own a trouser press. But I buy the sort of shirts that don't need ironing. You wash them, you hang them up, and they're fine. They're non-iron shirts. Life is too short for ironing. There you are. Joe is disagreeing. As you see all on social media, people taking the mick out of all kinds of people. No one these days can be nice. Well, what you're missing there, Joe, and it's people these days as it never used to be like it. There's so much bullying in the world and hate. I'm going to disagree with you, Joe. The reason you're seeing it more now on social media is because social media has only existed for 5 seconds in the grand scheme of things. The things that you are describing have always been there, and they used to be a lot worse. The world is generally a more tolerant place now. Now, when I grew up, and certainly when my mother grew up, being not entirely white, being people of colour, my mother was refused service in pubs because of the colour of her skin. That doesn't happen these days. And that's just one example. And that was happening in the 1970s. My mother and my father went on a date to a nice country pub, and my father went to order drinks, and the landlord told him that blacks were not welcome in that pub and they would need to leave, which my father did immediately after knocking out the landlord, and rightly so, in my opinion. When I was a child, I suffered quite a lot of racism. I was darker when I was a child. My skin has lightened with age. For those of you who don't know, I am not white. My maternal grandfather was black, and I am whatever you want to call it, mixed race. But I was much darker when I was young. I was in a school where I was the only non-white person in any description, and I got a lot of very racist bullying, really quite extreme bullying, which continued until I learned how to beat people up, and then it stopped. But honestly, I can tell you as a man of my age that the world is generally a more tolerant place now than it was when I was a child. And of course, if you go further back, then things were a lot worse. you might think that people get judged on their skin colour now, and in certain circumstances and to a certain extent they do, but they're not slaves anymore, Joe. And my ancestors used to be slaves and now they're not. So as much as things might be a long way from perfect, they're a lot better than the days when people of colour were slaves or were routinely hanged from trees and all of that sort of thing. And the same is true in tolerance of many other things. You know, let's take homosexuality as an example, right? Now, when I was born, or possibly just before, I can't remember the exact date, but it's not that long ago, virtually within my lifetime, and listen up you young people, being homosexual was a crime. And if you were a male homosexual and you were convicted of homosexuality, you had two choices. You could go to prison or you could be castrated. Castrated. Chemically castrated. They didn't actually cut anything off, but they castrated you to try and get rid of that homosexual urge. And the alternative to that was prison. Now, you look at homosexuality today, and we might still have a way to go, but my God, you can't argue that the world is a more tolerant place now. In terms of many, many, many things. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I think I'll leave that one there. I think we need to bin off the daily diary and have 5 minutes of advice each day instead, says Simon. I'm not sure well, advice from somebody else, yeah, not from me. If you can't be good, be careful. That's Bad Book's advice. Right, okay. Okay. Right, I'm not getting into that. Let's take Mike's advice and just be nice to each other, shall we? My advice is to never, no matter where you are or where you want to be, or even where you've been, and indeed where you're heading or think you're heading, with who or when you're heading is to what? I've got no idea where Simon was going with that. Joe says, well, the whole homosexual thing is a joke. We all should be accepted for whoever we want to be. But yeah, the world is definitely a much better place. Sit still in the doctor's surgery, says Simon. And, oh, no, let's not get into bickering, please. Right, I'll tell you about my copyright thing. As I mentioned, I woke up to 458 copyright claims, which was a bit, a lot. Well, it was surprising. It was annoying, and it was surprising. And the reason it was surprising is because I'm quite professional about some things. I'm very unprofessional about a lot of things, but some things I'm quite professional about. And all of the music that I use in my videos is licensed. I own a license for all of it. That's why you won't see in any of my video descriptions, as you will see in other YouTube videos, you will not see any music attributions. You won't see me putting music by blah, blah, blah. And that's because I own the license to use them. So I was very surprised to find myself being hit by copyright strikes, or copyright claims, sorry, for music that I own a license to use. Now, entirely my fault. I didn't read an email, did I? And what happened was the company that provides my music have had a change of policy, and they are clamping down big style on their music being used wrongly. And that means that they've joined the automated YouTube system, where instead of somebody having to manually check or being alerted or whatever, then they have uploaded all of their content to the YouTube system, which means that YouTube will automatically scan every video for their music. And when they find it in any way, shape or form, will put in an immediate copyright claim and demonetize that video and direct all ad revenue to the copyright owner. Now, we were told that this was happening, and we were told that we need to go to our account on the website and put in the code, not the name or anything like that, but the actual code for all of our YouTube channels, the actual coding, and that would add, and you only get access to do that if you are a license holder. It's a private part of the website for license holders only. And we add that code, and we are then added to a whitelist, which means that our YouTube channels are exempt from the combing through for the music and whatnot. So as soon as I realized this, I went straight to the website, added my code to the whitelist, and boom, immediately within seconds, every one of the copyright claims was immediately dropped. So you know, that was a bit of a storm in a teacup, really. Entirely my own fault, and was, as it turns out, fairly easily sorted. And that's the reason why I was early leaving, because the shock of those copyright claims got my arse out of bed sharpish to try and find out what was going on. But that's what it was. So nothing has changed. None of the previous videos will change. None of the future videos will change. I will be continuing to use the same music. It's fully licensed. I pay to use it. That is why you won't see an attribution. I don't have to attribute the music in my video descriptions because I'm a license holder, basically. So to answer your questions, I will be continuing to use the same music, and my videos will still be monetized, and they've obviously been remonetized, and all of the claims have been dropped. And it's my stupid fault for not reading the bloody email. I get so many emails, literally hundreds a day, for and from various things over the years, and I'm terrible with emails. I get a shed load of PMs as well, and I'm terrible with them. So my normal apology goes out to anybody who has sent me any sort of a direct message on any medium and I haven't replied. I'm just a bit shit. Please don't take it personally. I'll reply to you on the live stream instead, because I remember then. Okay, where did I get to? Barry says, my only advice is to be humble, be kind, and be open-minded. Life is short, do enjoy it. I agree with all of those. Who's coming to the yard on Sunday, asked Simon. Not me. I'm meeting people there on Monday, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And hopefully I will be swapping cars over and bringing Brian Johnston home. But I hope you all have a fabulous day on Sunday. The weather forecast looks really awful, but weather forecasts are often wrong. Let's hope this one is. It is at least going to be warmer. It's forecasted for 19 degrees in Milne Row on Sunday, albeit with rain. But if it does rain, at least it'll be warm, and hopefully it'll just be a quick shower. I would love to be there, but it's really difficult for me to make it work on a Sunday. There's a reason I go on a Monday. On Sunday, I'm so tired on a Sunday morning because I've done a Friday night service and a Saturday night service at the restaurant, plus everything else that I do. Sunday mornings, I am knackered. It would mean getting up an ungodly hour after nowhere near enough sleep. The journey there and back is over 3 hours. The quickest way from the yard to go straight to work is a 100-mile journey. It's, you know, it would be 155 miles, something like that. 4 hours travelling, going straight to work, being absolutely knackered, getting home from work Sunday night, and then getting up on Monday to go back there. And I can't make that work. As you all know, I'm well and truly up for a meeting on Sunday, but it's a work day for me. I know for many of you it isn't. For me, it's a work day, and it's quite a long work day. And I just can't make that work. I've done a couple of them at the yard. Oh, it almost killed me. I hope you all have a fabulous time. I'm sure you will. Please don't take it as me not wanting to meet you. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. But for me to make a Saturday or a Sunday work, then realistically, and more so now than ever because I'm doing so much at the moment, it's going to need to be close by to me here. So if any of you want to come round locally to here on a Sunday and hang out with me, I'd love that. But unfortunately, the chances of me making it to any car show are virtually nil on a Saturday and Sunday, unless it's at Ignition Cars and Coffee, which is 10 seconds up the road from me. No, wait a minute. Glad to hear it was swiftly sorted, Boaty, says Adam. Thank you very much. Good, the theme tune is the best bit, says Matt. I can't argue with that. I will freely admit that the rest of it is pretty shitty. I'm not as central as I could be, am I? I know, it's all about me, isn't it? Once again, I took Sonia, my small but perfectly formed tripod, named after a small but perfectly formed foreign lady. Oh, have I gone a bit too far? Nah, it's alright, isn't it? Shift over this way a bit. Yeah, I took the tripod today. Bit of a different day today. When I got there, I was in a foul mood, so we didn't really film much because I was just ranting and swearing and just being generally grumpy and angry. Then we did a lunch video, but much shorter than normal, so that'll come as a relief to you. And I'm going to chop it in half for you. So 2 20-minute bite-sized portions. Although I think that as lunch videos go, from memory, I think it might be quite a good one. We had an interesting chat. But yeah, it was only 40 minutes. And then we took off, quite frankly, and we went to look at a car with a view to buying it and taking it back to the yard. And it's a car that I actually like very much. Now, we didn't buy it, as those of you who watched the live stream will know. And we didn't buy it for 2 very good reasons. One is that Mustard hadn't let me know that this was planned to happen, so I didn't organise the finances, and I couldn't arrange the finance on that short notice. And number 2, even if we did, I've got cramp in my foot. Even if we did have the finance, the Seller didn't accept our offer. But it's a car that we would both like. Well, all three of us were had agreed that we would like to buy, and we haven't given up on it yet. So there's a chance that I'll be heading back out there on Wednesday to do another acquisition adventure. If we can, the funding's not a problem now, but we just need to agree a deal with the senders. I always let you into the little secrets, don't I, on the live streams? I'll tell you what it is. It's another MGZS, and it's a really quite a nice one in X-Power grey metallic. It's a saloon, which I think looks so much better than the hatchback. It's got the rear spoiler. It's sitting on 16-inch hairpins. It's got the nice half leather interior. It's got electric sunroof. It's a nice vehicle, and it will make somebody a very nice MG saloon. So there we are. Hopefully that will be sorted. Joe says, I'm glad you got it sorted. Copyright claims sound fun. They're almost never fun. I've got a 100% record with them. I've won every one that I've disputed and contested so far, including one against the BBC, who slapped me with a... Some of you will remember I had two long-running disputes, one against the BBC and one against a Scottish pop group whose name I can't remember, and I eventually won them both. But so there's a sense of satisfaction from that, but no, they're not fun. I missed what he was saying, says Simon. Bad Book says, nice fix with the copyright. This time next year you will be an engineer. I very much doubt that. And Matt says, does anyone ever listen to me? To me? Well, not many. And Matt will be there on Sunday, so that'll be nice. Simon says, I think Boaty's World needs a rebrand. The name is fine, but the music, the intros, the content, and even the presenter all needs changing. It's the only way to make sure your channel is successful. Fair point, well made. And Matt says, I hear Schofield is looking. Right. Sadly, says Adam, I think I'll be missing out on Sunday at the yard. And Simon says that I need to get Paul to move the yard between your house and the restaurant. That would be ideal. Right, Adam's explaining why he can't go. Matt says, that's a shame because I think you miss out on potential sales at car shows. Yeah, quite possibly, but what can you do? You know I'm joking, Boaty says, Matt. You've done some great videos. Well, 3 I think I was in. And then he says, well, oh, is it wine time? Oh, I forgot to put the wine in the freezer. Let's get the wine in the freezer. And let's give it 5 minutes. You didn't tell me it was getting on for that time. Right, let's get that in there. Oh God, as usual, I haven't done the bloody washing up. Weekends, it's just impossible. Give my one and only wine glass a swill. That'll be grand. There we are. There we are. There we are. I don't know what I'm going to do for today's daily diary. I might have to do it in the morning and just pick little bits. I've got so much footage from today, which you will all get bored senseless with. Well, have I got some? I did a bit on the way over. I did the lunch vid. Then I did the live stream on the way there. Mustard did the live stream on the way back with the camera facing us. But I also did a video on the way back covering all of the live stream, but with the camera facing forward. So you can watch that and get a different perspective on things. So yeah, that's going to be going out when I can't be asked to do anything better. And then I've got the Streetwise video. So I've got loads of footage, but I haven't actually filmed specifically a daily diary bit. So yeah, you kind of forget on when I did some bits actually, but no, I'll cobble something together. It might be a short one. They were intended to be short ones. There's just been a couple of days when I got carried away and they've ended up being 18 minutes. That was never the intention. They were just supposed to be little snippet videos of some nonsenses. But Mustard actually watched one. He watched one of my daily diaries, and he said he genuinely enjoyed it. I thought he left a comment. Mustard very seldom leaves comments in videos. And I thought he was being sarcastic when he said he enjoyed it, but we were talking about it today and he said, no, he genuinely did. So I take that as high praise indeed, because Mustard dislikes all of my videos. He doesn't enjoy any of them, even the ones he's in, because I don't edit them to his standards. So, you know, maybe I'm onto something with them. But, you know, they'll evolve. Oh, and on the subject of daily diaries, those of you who are not channel members, you are going to get all of last week's daily diaries tomorrow. There won't be another video tomorrow. It's just the diaries will be made available to everybody. And I'm going to put them out at 13:13, 14:14, 15:15, all the way through to 19:19. So yeah, you're going to get beleaguered with 7 videos tomorrow, I'm afraid. But you know, I hope there's something in one of them that you might like. Wine stream, yeah, wine stream time, babies. If it's raining on Sunday, says Ben, Guinness World Record attempt. How many MG Rover fanciers can fit inside a Mr. George Roger Boaty whilst playing MG Top Trump? Don't you break my caravan. Don't you break my caravan. Is the new car silver? Which new car, Bad Books? There are a few new cars floating about, and 2 of them are silver. I can confirm. Right. My ex said there was no spark between us, says Matt, so I threw a plugged-in toaster into her hot tub. Right, okay. Yeah. Killing your ex with Matt. Ways to kill your ex. Okay, jolly good. The fart music is rather unfunny now, says Simone. Is it? I still find it funny. I find it an amusing way to finish a live stream. But what do you lot think? Would you prefer something different for the live streams to play out to? Oh balls! That's just reminded me. I left a badge at Mustard's that I was supposed to bring. He's got a badge that I think will be okay for the front of Melanie Minge bag. Oh, I must remember to get that next time. How annoying. Never mind. These little things are sent to try us, as the actress said to the bishop. Right, cheers, my darlings. You're very good health. Thank you for sharing this time with me. It's lovely to be back with you all. Oh, I've done it again. Oh, that tastes awful. Too soon after the Vimto. I've done it again. Oh, get rid of the Vimto taste. Joe disagrees with Simone and says, the fart music is a brilliant way to end the stream. Right, okay. That'll be 10 minutes teetotal, says Bad Books. Yeah, I just about made the 10 minutes, didn't I? Simon says, this is actually a good question. If people were doing a YouTube channel, what would you put on it and why? Ben says, you're supposed to have Mondays off, DD. DD, remind me. Matt says, I would do behind the scenes footage of other YouTubers. Oh, yes, thank you, Ben. Don't forget to, it's your job to name the stream. As funny and random as possible. If it makes me laugh, then that is so much the better. And it needs to be short enough that it does. Oh, I'm so sorry. That it doesn't exceed the 100 letter maximum, or whatever the maximum is. I can't remember now. Oh, I think it's 100 characters, isn't it? Going back to new cars, I'll have more news for you on those fronts tomorrow evening. Yeah, by tomorrow night's live stream, I should have more news. There are a couple that may or may not be happening, and I should find out about at least one of them tomorrow night. And obviously you won't be the first to know. I will be, but you'll be the first to know after that. Stream name, says Matt. Travel the world, but not on the weekends. Right? At the weekend, says Bad Books, my elderly aunt apologised for doing a silent but deadly fart. She needs new hearing aid batteries. Oh dear. Joe, I like that one. Joe says, the daily diary videos are brilliant, just need to be a little longer when possible, and just add something extra to the channel. Oh, just add something extra to the channel. The Boaty fleet will be massive, says Bad Books. I think, in all seriousness, I think that I am one car away from the fleet being complete. And if at some point I can make that one car happen, then the fleet will not expand any further. Any spare monies that I may or may not have will go towards improving the existing fleet, or at least keeping it on the road, hopefully improving it. And there would not be an addition to the fleet. There would only be upgrades where appropriate. Now, some cars would never be upgraded. So, for example, Shison, to my mind, is the ultimate Rover 25. So, Shison is never going to be upgraded because what could I upgrade it to? That is my ideal Rover 25. So, that's not going to be upgraded. Stigbürt is never going to be upgraded. Unless I got super wealthy, I suppose I could potentially upgrade him for a 260, for a V8. But would I? Probably not. I think the 190 is the pick of the bunch, and I'm not alone in thinking that. So I don't think Stigbürt would be upgraded. Wetleg wouldn't be upgraded. If I hung on to Mingebag, she wouldn't be upgraded. What other cars have I got? Now, Miss Boo, that is a car that could be upgraded, you know, in the long term, and assuming that I became a lot financially better blessed, because I've got a hankering from the same year, from about 2004, 2005, I've got a hankering for a Discovery 3 in HSE trim. I've just got a thing about Discovery 3s. I think they're fabulous. Now, I know that they are endless, bottomless money pits. But if I had the money, I would definitely consider upgrading Miss Boo to a Discovery 3. But I'd swap the number plate over. So she stayed Miss Boo. Because I'm quite fond of that number plate now. and it always makes me remember my boo. And I like remembering my boo because, you know, we had mostly an amazing time together. She's an amazing person. All of my exes are. I'm still in love with every single one of my exes. I don't know if that's weird or not, but I am. They were and are fabulous people, fabulous human beings, and my feelings for them were very, very real. And I personally think that when you have real feelings like that, they never go away. Circumstances or whatever might mean that the relationship needs to come to an end, but does that mean that love comes to an end? Not for me. I'll love them all, each and every one of them, until the day that they die, or more likely the day that I die. You know, you see all of these jokes about your exes everywhere, and I haven't got a bad word to say about any of my exes. I love them all, and I wish that I was better friends with each and every one of them. You missed out on the chance to do a Boaty's station video at the Post Abingdon show. Yeah, I did, Matt, but I've got video of that station anyway. In fact, and the station at the other end of the line and the one in between, because that's a line that I know very, very well. Now, when Boo and I first got together, before we actually lived together and started our new life in Matlock, Bath, then Boo lived in Leicester, and she actually lived the other side of that, the other end of that railway line, Matt. Boo lived almost within walking distance of that, a hop and a step away. So I used to hang out there a lot, chat to all of the guys and the volunteers and everything, and it's a line that I know very, very well, and you know, all of the bits along it I know very, very well. And I have done videos there, not YouTube videos, but I have done Facebook videos there, and still shots and all sorts. And if any of you are Top Gear fans, then you will also know the line. Because do you remember the Top Gear episode where they made their own trains? The convertible Jaguar XJS, the four-wheel drive Audi, and they made their own trains? That's where they filmed it, on that line. So if you watch that episode again, Matt, and if you didn't know already, perhaps you did, that's where it was all filmed. It was all done on that line, and those are the stations that you see. So yeah, I did miss an opportunity to do a proper YouTube video, but it is a station that I already know quite well. But I would like to go back there and do a proper video. Ben says, Mr. Boaty, I take it you can't see my comments re community channel alert. No, either I can't see them or I've just missed them. I'll scroll back. Just looking through your comments, sir. No, I can't see them. Have I just not got to them yet? Oh no, that can't be right, because you'd right. No, not seen them. Barry says, life, love, and the pursuit of Tittybiscuits. I like that. Screenshot that. But Jolly Juju says, burp and, oh, I'm so sorry. Sounds like a good video title. Oh, that's on the same screenshot. Title idea, says Simon. The world's only fully music licensed live stream episode featuring a song played out in farts. That might be a little bit long. Adam says, what would the missing car in the Boaty fleet be? Well, I know what I think it is. But let me throw that at you. What do you think the missing car in my fleet is? Or what do you think I think the missing fleet in my car is? You know, given that, you know, I've got a bit of the old OCD. Oh, and going back to the upgrades, the other cars that I would now consider upgrading would be Brian Johnston, bizarrely. Now, hopefully when Brian Johnston comes back looking a little bit different, he will be my Arthur, my daily vehicle. I'm very fond of him as a daily vehicle. I'm very fond of Brian Johnston, full stop. But having driven that Streetwise, I now think a Streetwise would be the perfect daily vehicle. You know, everything would be the same as Brian Johnston. I'd get a really good spec one, obviously, but you've got that extra bit of ride height. Now, cast your mind back to last winter, the bad snow. Do you remember that although I got Brian Johnston amazingly through the snow, down all the lanes and everything, I did get stuck once. And I got stuck right outside the cottage here on the junction, going over, or trying to go over, a snowdrift that had become iced, and I just got beached. Right, well, in a Streetwise, I would have a few inches of extra ride height to guard against the snow. So, although you haven't got any real off-roading capability in a Streetwise over and above a normal 25, you have got that little bit of ride height. And if you don't know, winter tyres, proper winter tyres, will make more difference than having a 4x4. Amazing but true. So, for living here, I think the perfect daily would actually be a Streetwise with 2 pairs of wheels, summer wheels and winter wheels. So that would be the other potential upgrade, Brian Johnston. The missing car, if I got the right car, which was like the ideal, the top of the range, the perfect missing car, then that would never be upgraded either. But yeah, Brian Johnston into a Streetwise, I could see that happening. I preferred a pre-facelift Streetwise. But yeah, I think that would be the perfect daily. But you know, that would all be in the long. Joe, stream title: Streetwise Love and Disaster Copyright Claims Inbound. Screenshot that. Simon says Shison is the ultimate in non-binary Rover products, never to be bettered but possibly battered. Oh, and Simon's suggestion for the missing vehicle on my fleet is a recovery truck. Oh, and Simon says he might sell Margaret at some point. Have I bought Transit Face? No. Have I Bugger? And Simon agrees, no. But if it was silver, still be a no. I like Boo the Freelander, says Joe. I have a soft spot for them. I think they're brilliant, affordable, small SUVs. I totally agree with you, Joe, and I'm incredibly fond of Miss Boo too. But I do have a massive thing for the Discovery 3, and I would love to own one. Maybe I would break my own rule, and maybe I'd have the Disco as well as Miss Boo, rather than instead of. But that would be, I would need to be a lot richer than I am now to have a D3, because they are just endless money pits. Although I think they're fabulous. But that would be a long way in the distance. If I could... Who's that now? Oh, Christ. Yeah, if I filled what I perceive to be an empty spot in the fleet, then that would be the fleet for at least, put an arbitrary figure on it. With the exception of possibly upgrade, right, that would be the fleet for quite a long time. And the only possible upgrade would be Brian Johnston into a Streetwise. But I could see me staying with that fleet for, 5 years? 5 years, it would be, in my mind, it would be the perfect fleet. And I would love to get myself in a financially better situation and just improve the fleet, each and every one of them. So yeah, that would be the next move. But I do feel that there is that missing card in the fleet. Oh, Simon was talking about this yesterday, whether if he did sell Margaret, would he get another TF? And he says no, he probably wouldn't. He'd probably get an MX-5. Right. Barry says MG ZR 160. Why will Brian Johnston look different, asks Joe. I'm intrigued. Oh, just a couple of little well, 2 little changes only at the moment. One inside, one outside. Somebody will figure that out and guess them, I guarantee it. Where did I get to? Oh, right. And Simon says a Mark II MX-5, he thinks. But no pop-up headlights. That was the best thing about Black Betty. I love the pop-up headlights. Pop-up headlights are awesome, man. Any car. Bad Book says Brian Johnston was the best cricket commentator. I agree 100%. Joe says winter tyres are the key item for snow and ice. Agreed. John Morazzi says Streetwise would be a good call, as would all-season tyres. Simon says, what's the point in using the Streetwise in the snow if you've got Boo? You'd be better getting rid of a 25 and getting a spicy ZR. That would be another option. The thing is that, yeah. The thing is, I think of Boo as a vehicle for getting around here, where it's all snow. The thing is that however bad the snow is, in terms of going to work, then once I get past the lanes, where I work is urban, so the roads are always clear, even in the really bad snow. Oh, I'm so sorry. They're just always clear. So it would seem like a bit of overkill taking, a relatively big 4x4 when a Streetwise on winter tyres would just be every bit as good, I think. And, also my plan for the Land Rover, with help from some of you lovely people, I plan to buy some roof bars, as and when they come up somewhere localish. I plan to get a roof box, and I plan to put all of the stuff that's already in the boot in there, and a tent. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a camp. Maybe even more than one. I won't enjoy it. In fact, I'll hate it. But it might give you a laugh. And it's something I want to do before I'm too old to do it. Even though I don't want to do it. I want to do it, if that makes any sense. And I think it'll make really good content. Look at all those bloody camping channels. They've all got millions of subscribers. If Block can do it, I can do it. I can talk nonsense. I can get drunk in a tent. Maybe I could be successful like what Blot is. I do enjoy his videos. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. I really am sure he's a lovely guy. He's one of those people that I'd quite like to meet, actually. You know, down to earth chap. A good sort, I would say, a good egg. But yeah, I'm going to do it. And that's what I think of the Land Rover, as like an adventure vehicle, not like a go-to-work vehicle, especially because Freelanders are a bit I mean, they're a really capable off-road vehicle, but, you know, they do have a habit of breaking their viscous coupling. So I wouldn't want to do too many miles in a, you know, Boo has done 130,000 miles. Now, if you saw all of Boo's service history, you would see that everything has been done. Tens of thousands of pounds have been spent on that car. She was clearly owned by rich people, and that is driven home in that Boo was part exchanged for a brand new Land Rover. I think one of the new Defenders. And so it's part exchange at a Land Rover dealership. James of Chops Garage then bought her, and then Mike of Classic Wheels Wales bought her from Chops Garage on a trade basis, and then I bought it from Mike at Classic Wheels Wales. Not that I was given any choice, he told me that I was buying it. And if the snow's really bad, then yeah, of course I'd use it to get to work. But I think of it more as an adventure vehicle, like Wetleg, but for different sort of adventures. And that's how I've got it pictured. I've got it pictured permanently wearing a Land Rover roof box with all of the stuff in the roof box and ready to go. So that on a whim, at any moment, I could just take off and go camping somewhere and have a little adventure. And that's my dream for the Land Rover, to be honest, rather than it being like a vehicle to get to work when the weather's a bit bad. When the weather's really bad, yes, of course, obviously. But a streetwise on all weather tyres would mean that 90% of the time, that would be all that I would need. And obviously, a 1.4 streetwise is going to be a lot more economical than a permanent four-wheel drive 2-ton Land Rover. But anyway, it's all pie in the sky, isn't it? But that's kind of half of the pleasure of doing this sort of thing, you know, the dreams, the imaginings, always designing your perfect fleet, even though it's probably never going to happen. Goodyear Vector tyre, says John. 185 55 15s. Adam would have suggested a BRM, but they don't come in silver. Simone says good night. Matt says he just wants the Streetwise to join in with all the car shows for 2024 Year of the Streetwise. I really don't. I wouldn't go, to be completely honest. I mean, you know, all of you who do go and enjoy it and have a great time, bless you. More power to you. I'm glad that you go. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad you meet each other. I'm glad you get great content and get great channels. Me, not so much, to be honest. You know, I quite enjoyed the furious driving thing. As Mustard and I covered today, I did quite enjoy it. But would I be out every weekend at a car show, even if I wasn't working? No, I don't really get it. Mustard's getting a bit tired of them as well. You know, driving miles and miles, spending good money to get to a field full of cars like your own. I don't get it. Standing around eating lousy food. No. I would much rather do my idea of meeting up with your mates, with the people from the community, and having a nice pub lunch. Having a chat in the car park, having a drive of each other's cars, and then going inside and having a jolly nice lunch. That I can get on board with. Standing up in a field with thousands of random cars and thousands of other people, no, not for me. quite honestly. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the long drive to get there. I don't enjoy the fact that I'm spending money on fuel to go somewhere I don't really want to be. I would rather spend money on fuel to go somewhere where I would like to be. And just being generally uncomfortable. I'd rather be in a nice pub with an attractive waitress bringing me a Sunday lunch, a really good Sunday lunch. So, yeah. Streetwise or no streetwise, you're not going to see me at many car shows. The odd one here and there, but not many, ever. And again, no offence to those of you who love them. And I'm buggered if I could. Fair play to the lovely Joseph, who is... I've become very fond of Joseph, to be honest. And all credit to him for what he does. I couldn't do that. I couldn't in a million years do what he does. You know, the shambolic shuffles, and I know other people do the same sort of thing. Not for me, you know. Each to their own. It'd be a boring world if we were all the same. Joe says, can't type tonight, getting used to my new phone. Ooh, what have you got? Neil says, are you acquiring the leather seats out of Eric? No, I'm not, Neil, because Brian has already got leather seats. So, no, I'm not. The obvious candidate for those leather seats, if they were up for grabs, and they are out of Eric, the obvious candidate would be Derek, because they're pre-facelift seats, and they would drop straight into Derek. But no, they won't be going in Brian due to Brian's already got leather seats, and they're in better condition than Eric's, and B, the leather seats out of Eric are pre-facelift seats, and Brian is a facelift car, and that means that the airbag doings won't fit, which means that the airbag light would be on, which means trouble and grief, and couldn't be asked for that. So no, good guess, but no. That is not the inside part of Brian that is going to be changing. But a very good guess. Oh, I see. Right, yes. I see. Ben says, DD equals daily diary. Supposed to have Mondays off. Oh, did I say I wasn't going to do one Monday? Yeah, that rings a bell. It would kind of make sense not to do one on Monday. Because there's so much other stuff going on a Monday, but I'll do one. It's just going to be a really, really short one, 2 or 3 minutes. So that'll come as a bit of a relief to a lot of you. Yeah, that's right. I said I probably wouldn't do one on Mondays, didn't I? Again, my OCD is going to kick in and I'd feel that it was missing. So Monday will just be a nod to a daily diary, a little short one. I thought... I've stopped doing I've tended to stop filming the trip to and from the yard because I've done it so many times. How many times do you want to see it? You probably didn't want to see it once. You certainly don't want to see it every week. Even I was getting bored of it. But I recorded some bits today because I thought I could shove those in the daily diary and just try and do them a bit differently or different sort of chat. And then coming home, of course, I made the Streetwise video while I was driving home, and it was a stunning drive. The scenery will be amazing. The scenery will be amazing, even if the video content isn't. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Ben. You're right. I did say I wouldn't do Mondays. I'll just do a short one. I'll cobble something together tonight if I can be asked, but I've got so much footage tonight that's going to be uploading to the cloud at the moment that I probably wouldn't even be able to drag it out tonight. Mondays it normally needs the whole night to upload everything to the cloud, and then I can cherry pick the bits I need to download. So tomorrow morning there will be a new daily diary, but a very short one for channel members. And then tomorrow evening's videos will actually go through the afternoon, and it'll be the previous week daily diaries that everybody can see. There we are. Joe says, but would you want a diesel or petrol streetwise? As I know you like Derek's economy. I did. So a match of both would be great. Yeah, it would. And the diesel would be better in bad weather as well. So yeah, a diesel pre-facelift streetwise would be the ideal daily. Thing is, if I did upgrade Brian, I wouldn't want to get rid of Brian, would I? I'd just end up expanding the bloody fleet again. No. And Joe says, Neil, I'm sure Boris Johnston already has leather seats. Good point, says Neil. And yeah, he has. Adam says, so for me, if I buy a third car, I think I'll have to try and get a Mark II, Toyota MR2, then try not to wrap it around any trees. Good shout, I'm very fond of those. I think I've said before that I sold a shed load of imported Mark IIs, MR2s, because there was a massive market for the autos. God, they fetch good money. Joe says, Neil, haha, I'm sure it does, but I could be wrong, might be half leather. No, you were right, Joe. Brian Johnston has full black leather. Simon says, take care of everyone, don't eat too many pies, and don't tell too many lies. And then we all say good night to Simon. Oh, Adam asked the same question. Would you go 1.4 streetwise or one with the humble L series? Well, having had the L series, I'd probably, for choice, I would go with an L series now. I mean, the economy is amazing and you can tune them, and yeah, I'd go with an L series. But I'd be happy with a 1.4. I know you don't like shows, I'm only teasing, says Matt. I know you know that. And, you know, the odd one, yeah, but... You know, there are bits to enjoy from them, put it that way. But a lot of them I just don't like. Most of the time, it's finding the time to go to shows around working, says Joe. I've missed so many, but I went to one on Sunday while delivering and saw a lovely Rover 800. And then Joe says, Joseph is brilliant with his shambolic shuffles. He really is. Matt says, I think the L series is the better one for a daily. My 1.4 is rather low on torque. Yeah, agreed, Matt. The one I drove home tonight, I mean, torque was almost non-existent. But then being the 84 brake, there wasn't much higher up the rev range either. I mean, it was okay, it was perfectly fine. But a really nice L series would be the ideal, I think. Joe says, my mum upgraded to the new Samsung S23 Ultra. So I got her S21 Ultra. Did have that new flip Samsung, but didn't get on with it. And Joe says, I think Mustard has the same phone as Mum. Bloody incredible camera. It is insane. Mustard certainly is. Matt says, Justified City Primeval gets released this week. Anyone watching it, I've got no idea what that is. Oh, and Joe says, but I'm sure the L series streetwise is hard to come by nowadays, as I hardly see L series 25s anymore. Indeed. Oh, hello. Mustard says, he's been saying this all day. Hello, my lovelies. Hello, Mustard. How you doing, love? Thanks for a great day, by the way, and thanks for all of your efforts with Brian. Really very, very much appreciated. And thanks for letting me use the streetwise and getting a video out of it. But the rev range on the 103 1.4 is great fun. I totally agree with that, Matt. Totally agree with that. Brian is brilliant. Barry's going to head out. Ta-ta for now. Thanks for joining us, Barry. Have a great day. Joe and Adam have realised they've got similar minds, and they were both wondering which I'd want in a streetwise, diesel or petrol. Adam says, if how many left is anything to go by, and it's often not, there's only 7 of my specific flavour of 25 Impression 3 turbo diesel. If that speaks for the rarity of the L series, probably does. Matt says hello to Mustard. Joe says hello to Mustard. Adam says hello to Mustard. And Mustard says, hello, my lovely friend, which might be aimed at me. Probably not. But, right, I've caught up with the comments. And we've got 14 minutes to go. So I will just say again, thank you to Mustard for a brilliant day. I was in a dreadful mood this morning, and it turned out to be great. We had such a laugh in the car. We've had a laugh all day. I love my Mustard Mondays. I genuinely do. I can't honestly think of anything that I'd rather be doing. I wish we earned more money from doing it. But it's just the best fun. We had a really good lunch. It was great fun going out to look at that car, and they were lovely people. They really were the loveliest of people. The father and son selling the car. It's the father's car, right? But they're Slovakian, and the father has no English. So we went to the son's house, and the father brought the car round to the son's house. Because the son does have English, and so he was doing the translating. They were just so lovely. I want them both to come with the car. They've got the loveliest accent, and they've just got this lovely way with them. It's just everything, you know. The world seems a better place around them. Nothing is a problem. They instantly calm you and soothe you with and the father didn't have a word of English, but we understood him. We asked a question, the son would translate the question and ask the father, and we didn't understand what the father was saying, but he was so demonstrative with his hands and his facial expression that we understood exactly what he was saying, and we felt I think we both fell in love with them a bit. They were just lovely, lovely people. I'd love to have lunch with them. Oh, that would be a great lunch. Having lunch with somebody who didn't speak a word of English and we didn't speak a word of their language, that would be the ultimate Mustard and Boaty do people, or Mustard and Boaty do. In fact, if we do end up buying the car, I'm going to ask them if we can please very kindly film them and get a bit of Mustard and Boaty do people out of it. But the car is great as well. I think, you know, if we end up buying it, I think you'll like the car. We both do. I have a question, says Joe. What is your favourite engine from the Rover and MG range? And it can only be one. Right. Well, I'm going to have to cheat a bit, because are we talking about the entirety of the Rover MG range and the history of it? Because if we're talking about the whole range ever, then that answer's easy. It's going to be the, oh, hang on. Oh, you know, you didn't say K-series or anything, you just said engine. Well, it's easy. It's going to be the Buick V8. I've had that engine in, I've had it in a P5, I've had it in a P6, I've had it in a Range Rover, I've had it in an MGB, I've had it in a Triumph TR7. I mean, it's a flawed engine, by all means, but it's a fabulous engine. And it was it really was a game changer initially. For those of you who don't know, the Rover V8 was introduced initially into the Rover P5 which then became the Rover P5B. Now, the Rover P5 was a 3 litre lump, straight 6, I think. Mustard, help me out. And then the V8 was introduced into the P5, which became the P5B, and the B stood for Buick. Now, a Rover chap went over to America looking for a V8, and of all places, he went to a speedboat manufacturer to look at their engines because there was the possibility of using one of those. And he spotted this Buick V8 lying around somewhere at their place and said, "What's that?" And they said, "Oh, it's an old Buick engine that we used to use. We don't use it anymore." And he looked at that and he thought, well, you know, size is about right. It's a very light engine, very light engine. You know, the V8 3.5 litre was lighter in terms of weight than the 3 litres. So it kind of ticked all the boxes: cubic capacity, configuration, and lightness. So Rover did the deal to get this Buick V8 engine, and what a deal and what an engine they got, because it started life in the P5B. It was then used in the P6 as the 3500 automatic and the 3500S manual. It was used in the SD1 a number of SD1s. It was used in the 3500, the 3500S, the Vanden Plas or Vanden Pla, the Vitesse. It went on to be it was used in the Range Rover, of course. It was used in the MGB V8. It was used in a bewildering variety of TVRs. It was bored out to 3.9 litres for the Range Rover, for TVRs. God, what else did it go in? It's been used in so many cars. It went into the TR8, and it went into a lot of TR7s as an upgrade. They ended up in a lot of Triumph Stags as an alleged upgrade. They were even bored out further. I had a Range Rover LSE. That's the classic shape of Range Rover, but long wheelbase. I think only available in black. Mine was certainly black. And that had a 4.2 litre version of that same Buick engine. I mean, it just went on forever. It was the gift that gave on giving, that kept on giving, sorry. And I think TVR took it as far as, I think they took it out as far as 4.6. And I think some 4.6s made it into Range Rovers in the Overfinch or similar. Some of you will know better than I. But yeah, that would have to be my favourite engine from the MG Rover range. If you meant in the period that I've got now, then K series and whatnot. Well, I had lots of arguments with Mustard about the L series versus the M47. That started when we were talking about pre and post facelift Freelanders. Early Freelanders had the L series. Later Freelander 1s, the TD4s, had the BMW M47. Having owned both of them, I called Mustard all of the idiots under the sun and said the M47 was clearly better. Now, not so sure. I'm a fan of the L series. I've been converted. But I love the 1.4K series. I think that's a fabulous engine. I love the 1.6 in Shison. I love the 1.8 in the that I've got in the MGF. I was thinking about this. I've got amongst the fleet, I've got K series 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, and 2.5 litre. I haven't got a 2 litre. But yeah, I love the 2.5 litre V6 in Stigbürt. That would probably be my favourite, just in terms of enjoyment. I love the noise. I love the characteristics of the power plant. But as an all-around best bet, you've got to love the 1.4. You've got to love the 104 brake version of the 1.4. It's but I couldn't pick a favourite. Can I just say the K series? My favourite engine in the modern-ish MG Rover range is the K series. My favourite overall is the Buick V8. Although that's not really a Rover engine, is it? So I don't know if that counts. Oh, the whole range, says Joe, so it doesn't have to be a K series. And yeah, I was correct with straight 6, thank you. Oh, Liz is here. Hello, people. Have I missed much? Nah, just the usual crap. The V8 never made it into a Sherpa van, Mustard. I don't think. Did it? Did it? Did the V8 actually end up in a Sherpa van? I want to know if that's true. If that's true, then I want one. Actually, that's a vehicle. It's not the missing one on the fleet. But, be honest, how fabulous would that be? A Sherpa camper van. And if it had a V8, so much the better. God, I'd love one of those. That's actually, if I ever lose this cottage, because, to be clear, for those who didn't know, I am poor these days, and this beautiful cottage here, I rent it. And because I rent it privately, there is every chance that at some point they might not want to rent it to me anymore for a variety of reasons. I shouldn't even be here now. When I moved here, it was short term. The chap who owned it was very elderly, in his late 90s. He was in a nursing home down in Chesterfield, and the children didn't want to sell the property whilst the old man was still alive. It was empty for quite a while, and then I came here. I rented it. There's a story there if I haven't told it already. I probably have. But it was always understood that as soon as the father died, then the cottage would be sold and the money split amongst the children. And I knew that. So I knew it was going to be temporary. And but hey ho, that was how it was. Now, when the old chap did die, I'd got a little bit friendly with the eldest child, Chris, and I'd been here a while. He knew that I loved the place. He knew that I was a good and respectful tenant, and I knew that he was a good and respectful landlord. We kind of have an arrangement where I respect that this is his property and treat it accordingly. In other words, I treat it as if it was my own and look after it as best I can. And he respected that whilst it was his property, it was my home. And that's kind of worked very, very well. That anything I ask for, Chris will do. Hence having a best part of £20,000 overhaul of the gardens and whatnot. And you know, the next thing on the list will be a new bathroom. I've had a new kitchen. yeah, anything I ask for, he will do without a moment's hesitation. And I pay my rent on time and I look after the place. But I try not to be too, if something goes wrong in the house and I can fix it, I fix it. I don't want him to have to spend money on getting somebody out to do something that I can do. And in terms of upgrades, then I try and be reasonable. So, the bathroom is ancient, but it's okay. So I'm not pushing for a new bathroom because I had the new kitchen when I moved in. Since then, I've had all of that money spent on the garden, which I absolutely adore. And, the bathroom will happen at some point probably. But yeah, when the old man died, that was it. That was supposed to be it. But because I love being here, and, it was a good arrangement, and property is always a decent investment, Chris actually bought out the other children and said, well, we never actually said it, but he kind of said, are you happy being here? And I said, yeah, I'm happy I would love to stay here as long as you'll have me. And I said, are you okay with me being here? And he said, yeah, all good. And that's just the way it's been. But Chris is older than I am. And, at some point, no doubt he'll shuffle off. Or maybe he'll just, he's quite wealthy. So I don't know. But there's always the possibility that I could lose this place. I don't have that certainty. Touch wood, I never do, but it could happen. And if it does, I've got a cunning plan. If that happens, I'm selling the fleet and I'm going to buy a motorhome and I'm going to live in that, or a van, do the van life thing, and maybe have a couple of cars from the fleet parked up near work. But yeah, if I ever lose this place, I'm going to live in a van. It looks good fun, and I like the idea of a different place being your home every night. And I know everywhere in the Peak, I watch so many camper van videos and van life videos, and I watch where they stay, and I think I wouldn't stay in any of those places. I know all the hidden spots in the Peak to stay here where I would feel safe, and you would wake up and you would be somewhere amazing. So, oh, look at the time. Look at the time. Right. Oh, Joe says, we've had a great live tonight. Unfortunately, Jason has had over, yeah, Mustard, are you telling Liz or Mustard? Mustard already knows, obviously. Maybe you're telling Liz. Oh, we still need to pick a live stream title. We do indeed. Oh, what does that even mean, says Liz. Can you explain to Liz what a copyright strike means? This is a copyright claim, not a copyright claim. Basically, if you include in your video music or anything else which is somebody else's copyright, and you do so without having a license to do it, then unless it is copyright free and available within the public domain, if it's copyrighted material and you use it without license, then things are going to happen. Your video might be demonetized, you might get a copyright strike against you, and you might lose your YouTube channel entirely. If you use music in your video, you've got to have a license for it. So that's why, Liz, if you see Mustard's videos or whatever, and the radio comes on, we shut it down. Because if that radio plays a song and that makes it onto our video, we're going to get a strike because we're not allowed to put that music on our video. That is somebody's copyright. So you can't play a Beatles song. You can't play. That's why Mustard does all of his own music to his videos. That's why all of the music that I use on my videos, I've paid for a license to use. There is copyright-free stuff out there, although normally part of the copyright-free deal is that you have to put an accreditation in your description to that video, and that has to be in a certain format. but you can't just use, basically you can't use music or similar willy-nilly. If it's somebody else's music, then you need to make sure that you are allowed to use it. And yeah, I got 458 today. Mustard's favourite is the 1.4. It's such a brilliant engine, isn't it? I mean, it sounds great. It's incredibly revvy. God, the de-restricted 1.4 is properly quick. It is. I agree that it is the best all-rounder by a long chalk. But I do love the 2.5 V6, and I think the 1.8 is perfect in the MGF. I'd be interested to drive a 1.6 in an MGF, and I'd be interested to drive a 25 or ZR with a 1.8. Blimey! Oh, Mustard wasn't kidding. Bad Book says the police had a Sherpa V8. Blimey. Adam says, I'd love to get my hands on a 2.5 litre KV6, just don't ask me where I'd put it. Right, okay. Oh, right, oh, I see. The cottage looks lovely, says Joe. Would be a shame to see you move. Oh, I agree. I would never move from here of my own volition, but I have to be aware that it is a possibility. I don't have a secure tenancy, and I don't have and obviously I don't own it. At the back of my mind, I've always had this thing that if the worst came to the worst and they decided to sell the cottage, I think there's a very strong possibility that either Nikki next door, who's already got a massive property portfolio, she would buy it and give me a lifelong lease on it. Or the guys at work, they would buy it and do the same. But hopefully it will never come to that. I'm very happy with the situation as it is. But if it does, it does. And I love every second that I'm here, and I'm glad that it's played a part in my... Anyway, we don't need to be talking about that. Liz says, so what's caused the 400 strikes? Is it the intro music? Yes, it was, Liz. It's used as the intro music, it's the intro music to the live streams, it's used elsewhere in videos, and yeah, it was that caused these strikes. To save you having to watch through the whole live stream again, I'm allowed to use it, I own a license to use it, but they changed, oh, it's difficult to explain. YouTube has an automated system, Liz, that will scan any video that's uploaded for copyrighted material. In order for them to be able to do that, the people who own copyright to material need to put their material within the YouTube system. YouTube will then the people, the copyright owners, don't have to do anything. The YouTube system will scan for it, it will pick it up anywhere that it's used in any form, and issue an immediate copyright claim, and if necessary close the video down. The company that supplies the music that I use uploaded all of their stuff to this system within the last 24 to 48 hours. License holders such as myself were told that we need to input a certain our channel coding into their website system in a private license holder's area, so that our channels were exempt from this, because obviously we're allowed to use it. We pay to use it. I didn't read that email, I didn't do it, that's why I got the copyright strikes. I did it afterwards and all of the copyright claims disappeared. So, you know, storm in a teacup, really. Just a horrible thing to wake up to. Matt says, Lego Masters New Zealand starts a week tomorrow. Mad what these people can create from just Lego bricks. What do you mean you never liked the intro music anyway, Liz? Time to get Mustard to write you a new tune. No, I'm happy with it, thank you. Please give me my wheels back before selling Stiggy for a motorhome. Liz, touch wood, it's never going to happen. And if it did, then I'd keep Stigbürt anyway. And Stigbürt would be my fun non-motorhome car. I'd just park it at work. Don't worry, Liz, your wheels are going nowhere. And thank you again for the loan. You really got me out of a doings. Liz says, have you appealed or got licenses? Liz, I had them already. I just didn't do what I needed to do. The music won't be changing. I'm licensed to use it. I just didn't do a little thing that I was supposed to do. My fault, not reading the email. I get too many emails. I don't read them all. Blah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, sorry, Liz, you are stuck with the intro tune for a bit longer. I like it. I like it. I don't use it on all the videos. You don't get it on the... in fact, now I'm doing the daily... You know, you don't get it on the lunch vids. You've got different music on the lunch vids. They have their own theme tune. You don't get it on the daily diary vids now. They have no theme tune at all because of their format. So you don't get it all the time. Admittedly, you get it on the live streams. Oh, it's not too long at all, Mustard. Well, all right, my intro is too long. That's why I'm not using it all the time. But I like it. It's a good intro. I agree it's too long if I put it on everything. But I like to put it on some because I think it gives a good overview of what the channel is. And it's got Mustard in it, and I love that bit with Mustard. That's going nowhere. That's always going to be in there. And I love the fact that it's got Charlotte Dobre mentioning my name in there. Because she's a big famous. Even more famous than Captain Mustard. Can you believe that? In fact... The intro could be shortened, to be honest, says Joe. It could be, it's not going to be. If anything, the intro will be lengthened, because if I manage to get any more celebrity chums, I'm going to be adding them to the intro, and it's going to be even longer. My dream would be if the intro was so long, I didn't need to add any content. I just did the intro and then the play out, and then that would be perfect. And I'm not even joking. I love the intro. I have shortened it. It's shorter than it used to be. And I don't use it all the time because I recognise that it does drag on. But I like to get it in a couple of weeks. It's the tune, not all the pics and images in the intro that's the bugbear, says Liz. Yeah, but I've got used to it now. Oh, maybe I'll change it one day. Maybe I will change it one day. Maybe I should change it, actually. I've had that tune a long time, and I just picked it at random. The channel's moved on a lot since then. Maybe I should pick one that is different for a change, or that is in some way more suited to the channel. Or maybe I should even get one specially made that's unique to me. Because other people can use that music if they choose to, and if they have the correct things in place to be allowed to do it. The Mustard cameo on the intro is cool, says Liz. I love that bit. He didn't know I was going to do that, and it's not an accurate representation. I'm sure you've all seen the Mustard cameo on my intro. It's just before Charlotte comes in. I agree, Mustard. You need Joseph Lloyd in your intro. I 100% totally agree. And now that we're best friends, it's something I'm going to ask him to do for me. You could make a shortened version though for certain videos like the Daily Diaries and have their own. Same with the Boaty and Mustard Eats. Yeah. Well, the daily diaries don't have one, and I don't. They need one for the format that they are. I like it to be straight in and straight out. The Boaty and Musty each, they've got their own theme tune. That's a totally different one, and that's a lot shorter. And I like that tune very much. And it plays again on the play out, so I don't think that's going to be going anywhere. Liz says the tune is kind of a bit 70s dodgy leather jacket and moustaches. Liz. Right, the intro tune. I was talking slightly at cross purposes because, of course, the intro to... right, it depends what intro tune you're talking about. If you're talking about the intro tune with the mustard bit on it, right. Somebody tell Liz that it's the theme tune to the most famous porn movie ever. And that's why it's 1970s dodgy leather jackets and moustaches and a lot more dodgy stuff. It's the theme tune to Debbie Does Dallas, and that's why I started using it for that bit, because I found out how to get permission to use it, blah blah blah, and I love the fact that my little YouTube channel has got the theme music from the most famous porn video of all time. I love that. And I love the fact that people don't know. That's why I used it. It's a little private joke with myself. Boated and musty, quite right. A good evening to you all, says, it's our friend Andrew, aka Ivor Spotty Bottom. Good evening to all from a sunny but chilly Melbourne morning. Good morning. Oh, and Liz says, and then laughs her bottom off. Yeah, I love that. It's my little private joke. People say it sounds a bit porny, but nobody has admitted to knowing that it's the theme tune to Debbie Does Dallas. And I like Debbie Does Dallas. I've never seen it. I just like it in concept. And one of the things I've always wanted to do is to have a car with DVD players built into the back headrests, or Liz, have a flip down DVD player in the roof like yours, and to drive down a motorway with Debbie Does Dallas on it and just watch other people's reactions. That's on my bucket list. I really want to do that. Bad Book says Joseph does the hamming it up and is very funny as per Tweed Jacket Reviews, him caught on the phone. I love those bits too. I've become very fond of Joseph, and I know that Mustard is as well. And please be assured that any joking or joshing is very much done in a loving way, because I think he's just fabulous. And if I can get him onto my intro, you can be absolutely certain that I will. I'm going to do my very, very best. To have him, Mustard, and Charlotte on there would be... Ugh. We have been going, darlings, for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I could do with getting some supper and getting some sleep. The idea of getting any sort of video done tonight is totally not going to happen. But I just want to thank each and every one of you for your time tonight. And has Simone gone? Because I'm going to play you out with the farts. I love the farts. And Simone doesn't like them. Would you like Hubnut on your intro? Yes and no, Mustard. Yes and no. Excuse me. Obviously, he's a massive name, so yes. But I've got no sort of personal connection with Ian at all, so no. It would be blatant commercialism. If I got to know him and became friends with him, then yeah. But that's not the case. And he wouldn't do it anyway, because he wouldn't do it for you. And he knows and likes you. He doesn't know me at all. And what he does know of me, he doesn't like. because all of my lot have infiltrated his live streams. And Hubnut is actually convinced that I'm somebody else. He's convinced that I'm in there in his live streams as somebody else. He said so. He said so. Somebody said something about, are you aware of Boaty's World? And he said, no, but I'm sure he's here, but under a different name on the live stream. And I wasn't there at all. So he's probably got the wrong guy. Oh, I like the fart tune, says Liz, makes me smile. And Joe likes it as well, so that's good. So no, I mean, who would I like on my intro? I've got Mustard. I mean, he's the mustard must have. He's my best mate. Of course he's going to be on there. And I love what he says. It looks as if he's saying that that my channel is no good and he's sorry about that. That's not what he said. That's edited. He said that my channel was no good, but he didn't apologise for saying it. I took him a bottle of beer and he forgot to take it home and drink it. And that's what he's apologising for. He never apologised for saying that my channel is no good. Because, well, why would he apologise? That's what he thinks. And if I can find it, there's another piece of footage that I'm going to pull out and I would put in the intro. Or maybe I'll put it in an outro to change it up a bit. But there's a bit where I accuse him of never watching my videos. I say, you never watch my bloody videos anyway. He says, I do watch them. I just don't enjoy them. And if I can remember exactly where that is, I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to put it in the outro because that's funny. And it's particularly funny because it's true. So Hubnut would have to be in there. I like Charlotte being on there because that was so funny. Who have I got to thank for that? I think it's Tracy, the Greenwood, pointed out that she was using my stuff in her video. And then I did that, what I thought was incredibly funny video, where I used her own stuff back at her. And she's got over 1 million subscribers. And I got a load of her subscribers saying, oh, you two will be brilliant together, which was just hilarious. So I like Charlotte being on there. Who would I add? Joseph would be top of my list to add because I genuinely enjoy his videos. I genuinely like him as a person. And I would love to have him on my intro. And who else? Matt would be cool. Matt would be cool. Another just really, really, really nice guy. And I know he knows who I am because he told me. Specifically, he said he didn't think I existed, that I was the warped product of somebody else's imagination. But yeah, I'd love Matt to have a little cameo on there. But Joseph, after Mustard and Charlotte, Joseph would absolutely be top of my list, and I will try and make that happen. I don't know what I'd have him saying. I mean, you know, he could choose what he said, obviously. But, I mean, what I'd love would be the trademark good afternoon. Good afternoon. That would be the perfect ending to the intro, wouldn't it? That would be the perfect intro. You've got Mustard, then you got Charlotte, and then just Jason saying, good afternoon. No, sorry, that wasn't quite right, wasn't it? Good afternoon. But yeah, talking about the tweed jacket reviews, and the bit that whoever it was picked up on. Who was it? Oh, it was Bad Books. Yeah, I love that bit at the beginning of the tweed jacket where he's on the secret phone call and go, oh, sorry about that, viewers. It's a bit cheesy, but it's brilliant. I really do like Joseph and I like his videos. they might not be entitled. I just like them, and I like him, and I like the fact that he knows stuff, and you know. Anyway, there we are. Has anybody else got anything to say? We still haven't come up with a name, have we? Bad Book says Joseph is a top chap. Mrs. Joseph is very pleasant too. Well, you are clearly further into the inner scrotum with the Josephs than we are. Liz says, if Hubnut's put on the intro, I'll unsubscribe. Right, that's that. Ben's been out, but he's back. Mustard says, what if you could get everyone to just say Boaty and you could stitch them all together in a Mustard tune? I'd love that. God, I would love that. Yeah, okay, that would be my ultimate dream. All of my subscribers just saying Boaty and then stitch that together with you doing a tune. That would be all of my Christmas and birthday presents rolled into one. And that would be the ultimate intro that I could ever have for my channel. Oh God, I'd never have thought of that in a million years. And now you've said it, I want that more than I want anything in the world. I would rather have that than a night with... I would almost rather have... Oh God, I would love that so much. Could we make that happen? Because that's what it's all become about. Whatever I thought the channel might be or might not be or whatever, it's all about you lot. I mean, without you lot, there's nothing. I can't put anything out there. I can't do a shambolic shuffle. I can't be clever like with the technology and witty and engaging like James is. I can't do the spannering that Matt does and be engaging like that. I could never be Mustard in a million years. I mean, it's difficult to describe what Mustard is, but I mean, it's genius. I'll go on record again, as I have many times before, Mustard is a genius. Other people are very, very good in many ways, but Mustard is a genius. His stuff is just genius. It just is. It's on a different level. So I certainly can't do that. So take away you lot, and I haven't got anything. My content is just all crap. I just had the genius idea of trying to say, well, let's try and make a little community out of this and make it into, instead of disparate channels and channel people, owners, whatever you want to say, content creators and viewers, let's try and make it a group of chums, a community. That's the only good idea I've ever had. And it's only worked because of you lot. It's sod all to do with me. I just try and bugger it up by getting pissed and rattling at you far too often and for far too long. So yeah, that's what it should all be about. It should all be about you. And Andrew says, maybe have a photo collage of channel members in the intro. Brilliant. I would love that if everybody agreed to it. Oh, Liz says that's been done by Elder Gamer and Wigan Watch. Everyone saying the channel name singly and stitched together. Oh. Ben says, good afternoon. Let me introduce my elderly friend, Jackson Boatring's amniotic antics in the precipitate peaks. God, I did well to get that out after some wine. I'd settle just for a good afternoon, and he wouldn't even have to record it specially. I would lift one off one of his videos if he just gave me permission to do it. I wouldn't do it without permission, but I might ask him. may I please borrow a good afternoon for my intro? Oh, I'd love that. Mrs. Joseph liked my MX-5, says Bad Bucks. Joe says, Hubnut spoke to Mustard in his Gaiden video. Ian likes Mustard. Ian knows who he is and he likes him, and he will go out of his way to speak to him. And why wouldn't he? Mustard is lovely. And actually, all joking aside, I suspect Hubnut is probably lovely as well. You know? New feature, says Ben. Name the artist. Where do you go to, my Mustard, when you're alone in my mind? Oh, name the artist. Oh, it's Where Do You Go To, My Lovely? It's Peter Starstead, isn't it? You could use our channel pictures, says Joe. Oh, bless you, Mustard. What you've done with the community thing is wonderful, matey. Well, you were a massive help. A massive help. Probably wouldn't have done it without you. New feature, straighten the bloody picture. Which picture? That one. That picture is straight. It's you that's on the wonk, right? Look at the door. The door is on the wonk as well. I mean, it actually probably is in this cottage. That picture is 100% straight. Everything else is just on the wonk. Has anyone watched hubby being accosted by Norman Oswald Butler and Ernest Pickles? The door's on the opposite wonk. Oh, everything's on the wonk here. The whole cottage is on the bloody wonk. You've been here, Matt. You know it's all on the bloody wonk. Look at the fireplace in there. And you've been in the front parlour. You know how wonky everything's on the bloody wonk. It's midnight, darlings. Features to carry forward. Should I have a new intro? And what should it be? We haven't named the stream. Oh, God. I know, I just felt like being shouted. I do love you, Matt. I really do. Let's have a look at that screenshot I took. Streetwise love and disaster copyright claims inbound. What was the other one? And the other ones were Life, Love and the Pursuit of Tittybiscuits and Burp, Oh I'm So Sorry. And Simon's The World's Only Fully Music Licensed live stream episode featuring a song played out in farts, which is a bit long. I'll tell you what, I'll do what I've done with a couple of the others, and when I finish this, which is going to be now, I will do an amalgam of some or all of those. That's what I'll do. Stream name, 400 hits. Right, that's it. 2.5 hours, darlings. 2 hours and 34 minutes, you poor sods. What have you done to deserve this? You might be interested in my supper. You probably won't be. Oh, Mustard! I forgot to take that badge, the blue one. Please don't lose it or sell it or anything. Thank you very much. I'll get it on Wednesday or next Monday, depending on... Oh, supper. Oh, God. Supper, I don't have to worry about cooking tonight. I only have to worry about heating up and adding. So I'll take that out. That's ready to go. I've got naan or roti in the freezer. It's now midnight. Oh, God. Oh, Joe, you're more than welcome. Bless you. Thank you all so much for tonight. It's flown by and I've loved it. I really miss you over the weekends. And next weekend, there is going to be, there's going to be a live stream on Sunday. A Sunday lunch live stream for those who can't attend the Yard of Dreams. But I hope as many of you who can do. You'll have a fabulous day with Mustard. And I'm sorry I can't be with you, but I'll be there in spirit and I'll be doing a live stream in tribute to you all. By popular request of 3 people. It's not my disability badge. Right, okay. God. Let's go. Let's all go. And you get in the farts whether you like it or not. The farts are just me. That's, you know, that's my little bit of silliness and I enjoy them. And, you know, it's 25 to 1 in the morning, 23 minutes to 1 in the morning. We've all been arsing about. Other people wouldn't understand it. And I think the farts are the perfect way to go to bed. So thank you all so much. Genuinely means the world to me. Here we go. Unmute it. You got to admit that's a good finish. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been amazing. I'm so grateful to everybody who tuned in tonight and earlier today on both mine and the Good Captain Mustard's live streams. Thank you. Have a safe and peaceful night. Take great care of yourselves, darlings, and have the best day that you can tomorrow. And I can't wait to catch you all again tomorrow night, 11 o'clock. See you then. Much love. Night night.